Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to read class 7th Geography, chapter number 3, The Changing Earth, part 1. So, student, in the previous chapter we had already discussed about the plate movements. So, we are knowing that the lithosphere is made up of many plates and it is found under the crust or the upper mantle. These plates, uh, these plates are in a different shapes and sizes. Some are big plates. Some are small plates. So there are more than 159 tectonic plates are moving on the asthenosphere. The layer which is in the molten form, in the liquid form, which is just above the mantle layer, or we can say it is a part of mantle layer in the liquid form. So already we had discussed from the surface of the earth into the depth of the earth's surface up to 100 kilometer, that whole is a solid form, and that particular solid form is known as lithosphere. So lithosphere is moving, it's floating on the mantle, that is asthenosphere. So already we had discussed about the layer, the continental drift means the continents are moving. These continents are moving like if we throw any plunk of wood and on the water body, so the wood will start floating on the water body. Likewise, these tectonic plates are floating on the asthenosphere. So asthenosphere is the layer that is in the semi-liquid form on which the plates are moving. So in the previous topic we had already discussed that the plates are moving in a different direction, that is different pattern, that is the transform boundary, convergent boundary, and divergent boundary, that we had already discussed. Now let us see the different movement which creates the uh, different shapes, and let us starting with the topics. So the forces, basically these are the forces which lies on the earth's surface, and this changes they they create changes. What are these forces? So forces such as folding. So folding is the forces which is started appearing, that is known as also it is also known as responsible for making the different mountains. Like you can see, one plate is the two plates. Here you can see the movement of the convergent 2. Now you can see the movement of convergent 2. Now there you can see the plates are coming towards each other. The plates are coming towards each other. So this is which type of movement? This is convergent type of movement. As I already told, that the heavier plate will the that plates which are moving towards each other. Now you can see the plates are coming towards each other, and here you can see some plates are still constant at their place, and the heavier plates are getting drowned. How it gets drowned? It is because of the forces, because of its heaviness, it started drowning over there. So this creates the mountain. This creates the mountain. See, this process which happens over a long period of time, and folds are formed when originally flat level surfaces get bent or curved as a result of pressure and high temperature. And this is already I told you, this is because of the collision, or we can say the when the plates get collide. So the pressure of one plate sliding over the other causes the crust to crinkle or fold. So this is we had already discussed, when the plates get crinkle or fold, so they form the fold mountain. The example we can take is Himalayan mountain, that is the example of fold mountain. Now moving towards the next force, that is the faulting. Faulting is occurs when the earth crust fractures or cracks. It get cracks. The layers of the earth get crack. You can also see in the picture. This is the crack you can see. So it happens when the stress on rock is greater than the forces that hold it together. Means this the force which hold these rocks is become lighter than the force which breaks it. Fault occurs when the plates slide past each other, means one plate is moving in direction and one plate is moving in this direction. So this is the way when the this fault appears. This causes the sudden movement in the form of earthquake. So when the faulting occurs, so earthquake is the result of faulting. The place deep in the crust where the movement start is known as focus. This is known as focus, the place from where it start. The point above the focus is known as epicenter. The above of the exact the above of the focus is the epicenter. This is what epicenter. And the point above the vibration is called seismic wave. Now you can see these are the vibration, the result of earthquake. This is the vibration. So are also known as seismic waves, which radiates outward from the epicenter, means they are moving from outward toward the epicenter. An earthquake occurs under the ocean can cause waves to travel with a great energy at the great speed across the ocean. So you are knowing very well the tsunamis. Tsunamis are the result of when the earthquake occurs in the water body or the in the oceans. So that creates the tsunami in the water bodies. And if we talk about the faulting, so when the plates get moves, so they create the faulting movement and they the result is the earthquake. Now next is the volcanic eruption. So when the folding and faulting of the earth crust creates the cracks in the layer, so these cracks started appearing, they become the line of weakness, and cracks that goes downward all the way to the magma. This is the crack, you can see this is the crack. And this started creating this started when they reaches to the chamber of magma, means when they reaches to the near the magma, so the magma started get the chance to started erupting, so this particular pipe like structure you are seeing, this pipe like structure is known as vent. And from through this only the volcanic eruption appears. Now you can see the result. What will be the result? It will emit several things such as rock, steam, gases, ashes. Lot of things will appear. So it will form as a volcanic eruption. Now this is known as crater. Crater is a mouth. Mouth. It is in a shape of funnel. Funnel is a shape which is used to which we can see it is similar to the conical shape, so through which the magma started appearing. Now next we have to read about the different type of erosion processes that took outside the surface, means from what it appears and from the outside of the surface, because the activities which we have studied, these were known as uh, endogenic forces, which is lies inside the earth's surface, and that creates the mountain that is resulted into the volcanic this earthquake activities, volcanic eruption. So several things are get formed. Now we have to read about the forces which lies on the surface of the earth, and that creates different activities. So in that we have to read about the weathering and erosion. Now first of all we have to see the agents of gradation, means who are which are the things which helps in the gradation of something. So first of all, the gradation that helps in the gradation, that is the weathering. So what is weathering basically? So weathering, it is the gradual process which rocks break up into soil, means the soil breaks, the rocks, whatever the rocks is there, when it breaks and it forms in the soil, sand, or sometimes it formed in the tiny pieces or small pieces, due to the atmospheric conditions. So that is known as the weathering. Means the breaking of something. When something is broke, or basically the rock is get broke, and it changes into different shapes, and it take the new forms, whether it is sand, it becomes soil, whether it becomes sand, or whether it becomes in the small pieces. That process is known as the weathering. Means basically the form of changes from the bigger rocks to the small particles. So weathering is not alone. The weathering is also of three types, that is the physical, chemical, and biological. So we have to read all those things in this video only. First of all is there the physical weathering. So physical changes, that is also known as mechanical changes. So it occurs due to the changes in temperature and the action of the frost. Means the reason here, the weathering of the physical weathering is the ice basically. So as you can see in the picture that I have put in the slide, there you can see number one rock is there. That rock contains a small crack in it. So due to some reason, the rain or some reason, the water get collected in that crack. So when the water get freezes because of temperature, when water get freezes, this helps that crack to expand. There you can see in the picture number 2, the crack which we have seen in the picture number 1, the rock 1, that is smaller, but when the water get collect and it get freezes, so that freezes water or the ice which is being present in that crack, it increase the crack in the rocks. There you can see in the rock number 2. Now again, when temperature get increase, the water get again it change its form. Again when temperature get decrease, the water change into the ice. So this led to the crack. It becomes bigger than the earlier one. Also this helped to make the crack bigger than the earlier one. The freezing and the melting of the water, it creates the crack bigger and bigger. And there you can see the third rock, the ice, the water that is there in between the crack, it creates a large crack in the rock. And in the fourth rock, there you can see this repeated action is create the bifurcation or the crack of the rock, and the rock get split. Means it is get divided because of that water that is collected into the small crack. So this change or this changing of is known as the physical weathering. This change you have seen in the picture, that is known as the physical weathering or the mechanical weathering. So whenever the rock get broke because of the physical weathering, it changes into the bigger rocks get changes into the smaller rocks. Now you are able to understand, when water get freezes and it's get defreeze, means it changes into water because of the temperature. So that led to the cracks bigger, and after this repetition of these things led to the split of the rocks. Now next is the chemical weathering. Chemical weathering is what you might have heard about the acidic rainwater. Means the acidic rainwater is what the rainwater consists acidic. The rainwater is in the acidic form or in the acidic nature, that also eroses the different rocks. So there you can see in the picture, in the picture of the chemical weathering, there you can see there is hard rock
the dark brown part you can see, and there is a regolith as light brown part. So what is regolith? Regolith is it's a kind of soil, or you can say the small particles of the rocks in the softer it's kind of soft rock, you can say. It's a soil, you can say. So there you can see in the picture, hard rock is still there, but regolith is, it is being eroded because of the acidic or acid rain. Means when the acid rain occurs, during that time the hard rock will still remain, but the regolith get started erosion. So because of that, there you can see, when the whole regolith get removed from that particular rock, only the hard rock which is left, that you can see. So this is the chemical weathering. Okay, after some time, the regolith, when finally the regolith gets removed from the hard rock, there you can see the different small hard rocks are there. You can see it might be get split after some time. So it the final, you can see the result is that one time before some time it was a full rock, but after rainwater, this acidic rainwater, when regolith get removed or eroded, that all rocks, the bigger rocks, is converted into the smaller rocks, or there you can see, and it gets split after some time. So this is the chemical weathering. Now next one is biological weathering. So biological weathering is what? It is just, you can see sometimes in the rocks some small plants get started growing. Some trees, the seedling of the trees started growing in the cracks of the rock. So when the root started expanding in through the cracks, the root started making the gap or the cracks bigger and bigger, and after some time the roots make the rock split in the three part, or whatever wherever the roots grows in between the rocks. So this is the biological weathering. Yes, human is also responsible for biological weathering, like when we need the different rocks, we use granite and other bombing material which help us to break the rocks. Or animals is also there, they used to make the burrows in the rocks. So these are the activities are considered at the biological weathering. So there is three type of weathering we have read in this topic. First one is the mechanical weathering or physical weathering, the another one is chemical weathering, and the last one is the biological weathering. So in the physical weathering, I had explained, in the crack of rocks, there you can see when water get collected and started because of temperature, when water get freezes, so the crack started increasing. When it again it defreezes, means it converted into water, the cracks begin start, means this all led to the formation of the cracks bigger, and after some time the repetition of the activity led to the creation of the split of the rocks, and that create the bigger rock into the smaller rocks. And the another I told you that the chemical weathering, where the hard rock and regolith is there. So regolith get eroded with the help of the chemical or the acidic rain, and only the hard rocks is left, and it also gets splitted after some time. And biological weathering, I'd explain, the roots or the roots of the plant or the animal started burrowing, or the human started bombing the rocks for their personal uses. That all creates the biological weathering. So there you can see in the weathering process, something is get destructed and something is get constructed. So what is destructed? The bigger rocks started destructed, and the smaller particles or the smaller rocks get formed, and these smaller rocks get formed after some time. It creates the new layer of the earth surface. Means one one landform is get eroded or it get destructed, and another landform is being created with the help of the weathering. This is the weathering we have to read. Now there is one more thing apart from the weathering, that is the erosion. So erosion, you might have heard or read in the previous classes that erosion is what? The erosion is the wearing away of the land surface, by the help of the running water, moving ice, wind, action of waves, that is known as the erosion. There you can see in the picture there is a rock there, you can see, and when rain is there, or you can see the wind moves, or the water moves, so it wear away the things which is present on that particular area. There you can see in the picture the rocks is still, the weathering causes the rocks into breakdown. Okay, the weathering I had explained. What the weathering do? It create the smaller rocks from the bigger rocks. And erosion, with the help of water and other agents, the rocks started moving from that particular area to the another area. That is the erosion. So weathering and erosion are the things which help us to create the new different landforms. Means it create the destruction of something. And okay, what about the things? Means when weathering happens and erosion happens, afterward, means there you can see the bigger rocks converted into smaller rocks. Erosion help the smaller rocks to move apart from that particular area. So after moving all those rocks, or after moving all those things, what happened? There is deposition. Means that whatever it is being created by weathering or erosion, that is started depositing in a particular area. Means it gets deposited in particular area. Okay, now you can see in the picture there is boulders. Boulders is a big it's a kind of big rocks, and then cobbles, pebbles, sand, silt, clay. This is the different size of the rocks. Make sure, we'll read in the next topics also, when the weathering or weathering procedure is there, so bigger rocks converted into smaller rocks, and river, wind and other agents help to create these other kind of rocks like cobbles, pebbles, sand, silt and clay. So what are that? They are the part of a rock, but with the help of erosion procedure, with the help of weathering procedure, it converted into different shapes and size. Means it has it is you might have been noticed the sand. If you put sand in your hand, takes some smaller part of quantity of sand in your hand, there you can see small particles are there in sand. That small particles, there you can see a formation of that is formed from the bigger rocks because of the weathering procedure. So whatever is being eroded or weathered, or means with the weathering procedure, that get deposited somewhere, and that deposition forms the new landforms. Clear to all? When the all rocks which is being eroded by the weathering procedure or erosion procedure, that all things are getting deposited in a particular area, that is the deposition. Now in the next topic we have to read the water that helps to form in the different landforms. So water is what? River. Basically we have to read the different riverine landform which is being formed by the rivers. So first of all we have to you know very well, the rivers are almost originated from the mountainous region. Okay, when the glaciers melting, and after melting of glaciers, the river started from there, and it comes to the plain areas and it goes to the meet to the ocean. So these all things we have to read in this particular topic. First of all, we have to know where the rivers come from. Means the place where river originate, the place where river get birth, means it started basically, that place is known as the upper course. So basically it is in the mountainous region. Okay, the river get originated from the mountainous region, from the glaciers itself. Sometimes the glaciers started melting and it forms a river. So here the in the upper course of the river, means the place where it originate, it only work as a eroded material. Means that river only eroded the rocks. Means if you if you suppose if I ask you to put a little amount of soil at a particular place and make it as a mountain, give it a shape in the mountain, and just flow water from there. So there you can see, when you flow the water take away the water wears away the soil which comes it into the contact. The waters wears away the soil when it comes into the contact of that particular area. So this shows that the source of river, where the river originate, that created the erosion of the rocks, means it eroded the rocks. Now the next is middle course. So when the river leaves its the upper course or the origin source, it enters into the low lying areas or the plains. Low lying area means there you can see in the picture the middle course there, from the highland to the plain areas. So these particular area is considered as the middle course of the river. Means there the rivers do two types of work. First it eroded, and second one is it transported, and sometimes deposition also. So make sure that the river in its upper course, its work is only erosion, and when it comes to the middle course, its work only of the its works as erosion as well as transportation and sometimes deposition. Means whatever it brought, it is being brought by the river from the upper course, it is being eroded, it is being deposited in the banks of the river of the plain areas. Clear? And also whatever the part which is whatever the silt or grey which is not get deposited in the bank of the river in the middle course, that all things it is being carried out, means it is being transported by the rivers in the lower course of the rivers. There you can see the lower land or the low course. So this lower course is what? This is the place where only deposition works occurs. Only the deposition works occur. Means there you can see the picture also, when the rivers comes to the lowland, means where the place the different silt or sediments that is brought by the river, it is being deposited in those areas. Now you can see the mouth. Mouth is what? The place where river reaches and it's come into the end. Means the place where river ends and it's joined to the ocean or seas, that is known as the mouth of the river. So as you have seen that in the upper course the river only work as a erosion work, it do only erosion, and in the middle course it also eroded, it transported and deposited. In the lower course it only deposited and transport, but in the mouth it only deposited the materials which is being brought by the rivers from the upper course as well as in the middle course. So what are the things that it brought by the rivers? That they are the rivers that is brought by the rivers, that is known as sediments. The things which is brought by the rivers, that is known as the sediment. So sediments is in the form of small pebbles, small rocks, and it helps in the formation of the sediments. So in this video we have to read also all these different courses that is being formed by the rivers. Now first of all we have to see the upper course of the river. So the upper course of the river is being formed means the when the river uh, comes from the its origin, it forms the valley. So you might have read in your previous classes what is valley. The place between the two hills or the mountains, that is known as the valley. So the a low area between the hills or mountains, it and sometimes the rivers is running through it, so that area is known as valley. So valley is formed by the valley is present in the upper course of the river. Okay, so valley we have to read the other types of the valleys of the in the upper course of the river, that is the canyon and the gorges. So what is canyon? So it is also valley, and what is gorges? It is also valley. The different in the canyon and valleys, gorges is the canyon is a deep and wide. It is deep as well as wide, but in the gorges it is also deep but it is narrow. There you can see in the picture of the first picture is belongs to the canyon, and it is the picture of uh, this is the picture of Grand Canyon, Arizona, and the another one is gorges that is formed in the Nepal Kali Gandaki river. So this is formed by the different uh, this is the different landforms which is formed by the river in its upper course. The different this these the canyon is also valley, canyon and gorge is also valley, but there is different is that the canyon is the deep and wide, and gorges is deep and the narrow. Clear? And in like I explained in the valley also, the valley where the place where two hills and between the two hills and mountains and river running through it, there in the canyon also there you can see the river is running through it. Okay, canyon always or mostly it is found in the arid areas, means in the dry areas or the semi-arid areas, and gorges being found in the semi-arid or the in the plain areas, means sorry, in the normal areas. Now the next formation of the uh, waterfall in its the next formation of the landforms in the upper course of river is the waterfall. So you might have seen in the different pictures or in the different movies or from the different sources waterfalls. So waterfall is what? It is a vertical drop of water from the upper surface to the lower surface. That is a waterfall. You might have seen in different pictures. There is also a picture of waterfall. Okay, now there you can see in the picture that I have put in the slide, there is hard rock and soft rock. Okay, so which rock can eroded the earlier, hard rock or the soft rock? Yes, the answer is the soft rock. Soft rock will get eroded earlier than the hard rock. So there you can see, okay, the rocks, the layers of the earth is consist of the different, like sometimes it's soft rock, sometimes it's hard rock, that I had explained in the previous chapters of the geography. So there you can see in the picture somewhere the hard rock is present and the soft rock is present. So when the water goes through it from the height, from particular from the upper course of the river, so water, what is the work of water there? It started eroding the soft rock. It started eroding the soft rock. There you can see the picture, the rapid, the water source, basically the water source started eroding the softer rock from the downside, and after some time when this erosion took place of very from the numerous years or the from very the continuous years, so the softer rocks get fully eroded, and the water started coming with the force and started falling vertical from its top of the rock. So it create the waterfall, means the erosion of the softer rock, and their hard rock still remains, and the soft rock started eroding, and that led to the formation of the waterfalls in the upper course of the river. So let me recall you once again in the upper course of the river. So in the upper course of the river, valley is been formed. Valley is what? It is the place where the between the two hills or mountains and a river running through it. Canyon and gorges, it is also kind of valley, but canyon is a deep and wide. Wide means it's wide. It means its breadth is more than the another one. So the canyon is deep and wide. It is formed mostly in the arid areas or semi-arid areas, and it is contains a river through it. The river flows through it. And gorges is also, it is also narrow, deep but narrow from the canyon, and it also contains, the river run through it. And another things we have read in this the formation in the upper course, that is the waterfall, where hard rock and soft rock is there, and soft rock get eroded by the water, and it took place of the soft rock, and that creates the water to be fall from the vertical from the top of that particular rock, and that creates the waterfall. Now the most important thing that we have to read in the course of the river, that is the middle course of the river. So in the middle course of the river, it forms different things that you can see in the picture. It forms the floodplain, it's formed the oxbow lake, it's formed the meanders. There are various things which is being formed in the middle course of the river. So as you know, when something is being thrown from the height, the speed must be great, or the more. And when something is throw from the in the horizontal or in the plane areas, then definitely the speed will not that much more. So there, when the river enters in the middle area or the middle course, that is the basically in the plain areas, that is known as the middle course. So here its speed decreases. Okay, in the upper course of the river, the speed might be the speed is more, and when it enters in the middle area, the speed of the river is get decreases. First of all, what the river forms in its middle course, that is the meanders. So you might have seen in the various pictures in the various other sources, the loops, the snake structure, the snake type structure. So when the snake moves, it forms the loop, different loops there you can see. So the snake type of structure is known as the meanders or the loops. Clear? So the loops is what? It is it's a structure that the movement of the movement of snakes, it present there in the picture you can see, that is known as the meander or the loops. Also, it also forms the oxbow lake. Okay, look at the picture that you will be able to understand. See the meanders. First of all, look at the picture in the meanders. So meander is there, and that meanders can be changed. Okay, you there is one more thing that I have to tell. The river always changes its course. What is course? Course means the place of its flowing. There you can see the picture, and the light brown area meanders. There you can see the flow of the river. There is brown part as well, and the blue part is also that blue part is consist of the water, and the brown part is it was earlier consist the water earlier. So there you can see the snake like structure, and when the meanders, you can see in the picture the river flow, and the river flow, the Oxbow Lake, like sometimes when the river changes its course, and the the meanders get separated from the main course of the river, it forms the Oxbow Lake. There you can see the Oxbow Lake is in the shape of the ox, or the foot of the ox, that is the Oxbow Lake. Okay, it, the Oxbow Lake is